Everybody is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering what is really going on with Angel Reese. Has she just flat out quit again?
Angel Reese, once celebrated as one of the brightest young stars in the WNBA, is now at the center of a jaw-dropping downfall. After a season filled with controversy, heated rivalries, and relentless media scrutiny, shocking news has erupted. Reese has walked away from the Chicago Sky and the WNBA entirely. Fans are stunned, critics are circling, and her public reaction is leaving everyone speechless. What could drive such a bold and career-altering decision? Today, we uncover the drama, the backlash, and the unforgettable moment that has left her humiliated. Angel Reese's vanishing act, injury, image, and the growing storm. The murmurs began quietly, almost as an afterthought, but now they've grown into a full-blown debate that's ripping through WNBA circles.
Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you gotta be, hold on, you have to have some level of self-awareness here.
Has Angel Reese already quit on the Chicago Sky? For weeks, she has cited a back injury, a claim that's lingered since the All-Star break. Yet no one seems to know exactly what happened. The updates? Always the same, day to day. The details? Non-existent. And as each game passes without her return, the suspicion only deepens. To some observers, the situation feels eerily familiar. Even worse, they say, than the infamous Kawhi Leonard saga. The theory goes like this. Reese's injury is less about physical pain and more about strategic disappearance. That she's using her back as a shield to sit out a season she no longer cares to salvage. That her eyes have drifted to Caitlin Clark, another headline maker sidelined by injury, and perhaps thought I've already proved my point. After all, when the first All-Star voting results were released and Reese sat at a shocking 13th place, something changed. She went on a furious 10-game stretch, racking up numbers that seemed laser-focused on securing her place in the showcase. Once she made her point, the momentum evaporated. Chicago's season was spiraling, its roster weakened after losing star point guard Courtney Vandersloot early in the year, and the losses piled high. In the eyes of her critics, Reese decided she wanted no part of those defeats staining her record. The breaking point for some came on a Saturday in Indianapolis when the Sky faced the Indiana Fever. Not only did Chicago lose, they were crushed. But Reese wasn't even in the building. She didn't travel. Her coach, when pressed, offered the same vague line. She's focused on rehab and remains day-to-day. Yet still, no one could say how or when the back injury happened, what its severity was, or when fans might expect her return. The numbers have become talking points in themselves. Chicago is 1-10 in games Reese doesn't play. For her defenders, it's proof of her value. For her critics, it's proof of her absence. And a reminder that in professional sports, the greatest ability is availability. The contrast with Caitlin Clark is where tempers flare hottest. Clark's injury is documented, traced to an in-game moment, and comes with a clear, if tentative, recovery timeline. Reese's? A cloud of mystery, no origin story, no projected return, just an indefinite pause that has coincided neatly with the Sky's collapse. And then comes the harsher claim that Reese never truly loved basketball in the first place. At 6 feet 3 inches with rare athletic gifts, the sport may have been the obvious path, perhaps even the only one. But love for the game? That, her critics insist, has never been visible. They believe she's chosen the sidelines and the safety of her public image over the fight on the court. And how could one unexpected move shatter everything we thought we knew about Angel Reese and reveal the secret she's been hiding? Stick with us as the truth unravels. Behind the silence, brand over basketball. For critics, the verdict is already in. Angel Reese has effectively laid down her jersey and quit on the Chicago Sky this season. They acknowledge she might return next year, maybe even before this one ends. but they see her current absence as a deliberate retreat. And the reason? They argue it has little to do with injury and everything to do with image. The frustration isn't just that she's missing games, it's the cloud of mystery that hangs over her absence. A superstar player, sidelined by a supposed back injury, yet there's no clear diagnosis, no explanation, and no timeline for return. Day to day has become the catchphrase, repeated so often it's lost all meaning. Even her coach struggles to articulate what's going on, offering vague statements that raise more questions than they answer. To those who follow the WNBA closely, this feels unprecedented. When has the league ever seen such a high-profile player vanish into a haze of uncertainty without so much as a public breakdown of what happened? The narrative from critics is blunt. Angel Reese doesn't care about the Chicago Sky or even the league itself. What she cares about is what both can do for her visibility, her endorsements, and her long-term brand. And right now, with the Sky sinking in the standings, the team offers her no benefit in that regard. The fear is that every loss could chip away at her image, and so, the theory goes, she's switched into full brand protection mode. Rather than grinding through a tough season with her teammates, she's distanced herself from them entirely, trading the locker room for the comfort of distance and the safety of silence. It's a stance that, for her critics, exposes something deeper, a lack of love for the game itself. They describe her as toxic to a winning culture, a player you simply cannot build a consistent, championship-caliber environment around at the professional level. Her college years tell a different story, one shaped by the unique structure of NCAA women's basketball. At that level, the sport's dominance is concentrated in a handful of powerhouse programs: UConn, Stanford, South Carolina, and now LSU, under Kim Mulkey. In that environment, with a loaded roster and elite coaching, Reese could thrive as part of a championship team. But the pro game is different. The parity is greater, the grind is longer, and the margins for success are razor-thin. In that setting, critics argue Reese has yet to prove she can be a consistent winner. They don't question her physical gifts. At 6'3", with her athleticism, she was almost destined to excel in a sport like basketball. What they ask is whether her passion matches her potential. To them, the signs are clear. Angel Reese loves what the game can give her: the fame, the platform, the opportunities, far more than she loves the game itself. And now, could Angel Reese's latest move be more than just another absence? Is there a hidden reason no one expected? Because what happens now changes everything. Keep watching. Angel Reese and her pattern of disappearance. So the question on everyone's mind: is Angel Reese truly battling an injury? Or is this simply the most predictable vanishing act in WNBA history? Commentators aren't holding back. Many suggest bluntly that she has packed it in for the year again. Some say it outright: she's quit. And the reasoning, according to critics, seems to follow a clear, if controversial, pattern. From the moment the Chicago Sky lost star point guard Courtney Vandersloot early in the season and the team began suffering heavy defeats, Reese reportedly made a choice. She saw the losses piling up, recognized the team wouldn't contend this year, and decided she wouldn't let these failures tarnish her record. If the Sky ended with one of the worst records in the league, she'd have an excuse ready. Her absence framed as a necessity rather than surrender. This isn't her first time either. Critics point to the previous season, when injuries conveniently arrived just as her narrative was most vulnerable. After the Olympic break, Reese's double-double streak ended, and suddenly her wrist became a reason to step aside. She didn't just stop playing, she didn't even attend the championship game of the inaugural unrivaled season. 2 seasons, 2 abrupt exits. To outside observers, what looks like misfortune starts to resemble strategy. And then there's the irony that makes the situation even more striking. The minute Reese is out of the lineup, the Chicago Sky suddenly looks like a functioning basketball team. Analysts have noticed a measurable difference. Spacing improves, pace picks up, and even the bench seems more engaged. When Angel Reese is absent, the team strings together wins more consistently and avoids the sloppy, demoralizing losses that dominate their record when she's on the court. For a player promoted as the cornerstone of the franchise, that is a startling statistic. Imagine a so-called franchise player sitting out, yet the energy, cohesion, and results of the team actually improve. Coaches have hinted, never directly but clearly enough for insiders to notice, that the squad plays with more urgency when possessions aren't being funneled through one singular ego. Critics argue that this pattern raises uncomfortable questions about Reese's true priorities. Is the game itself ever her main focus, or is it always the image she projects, the brand she maintains, and the story she controls? For someone celebrated as a star, the discrepancy between marketing and results is glaring. 2 seasons of sudden absences, strategically timed injuries, and a team performing better without her. It's hard to reconcile with the image of a player who loves the game. And as whispers grow louder, fans and analysts alike are left wondering, will Reese return with the same intensity? Or is her legacy beginning to be defined more by the streaks she abandons than the victories she secures? Every unanswered question only deepens the intrigue, leaving the sky, the league, and the public waiting to see how, or if, Angel Reese will show up next. Could Angel Reese's absence be more than a simple injury? Is there a hidden strategy at play no one has uncovered yet? Stay glued, this story is far from over. The contrast that defines a season. The more Angel Reese vanishes, the clearer the story becomes. A true star should make their team stronger, not weaker. Yet Chicago's performance without her paints a startling picture. Opponents are suddenly harder to beat when she's absent, and the improvement is impossible to ignore, no matter how carefully public relations tries to spin it. The contrast is especially stark when you look across the league at players like Caitlin Clark. Clark's season tells a very different story. Despite a groin injury that has sidelined her at times, she remains present in every way that counts.
Yeah, and speaking of Caitlin Clark, she's only played 13 of 29 games. She's been in and out of the lineup, obviously, with the injuries. You know, when you take a look at Caitlin Clark,
she's in the arena, in uniform whenever possible, engaged with teammates, and actively interacting with fans. While her injury has forced careful management of playing time, it has not stopped her from leaving a tangible mark on every game. Averaging 16.5 points and nearly 9 assists per contest. Clark leads the league in assists, and every pass she makes directly influences outcomes. Her contribution isn't just statistical, it's catalytic, swinging momentum and keeping her team competitive even when she can't play full minutes. The Fever's coaches and players notice. They point to her resilience and unselfishness, emphasizing how her energy, communication, and encouragement elevate everyone on the court. Her presence alone is described as adding 10 to 12 points per game through leadership, morale, and strategic insight. Even on the bench, Clark breaks down plays, motivates her teammates, and maintains a visible investment in the fight. She embodies commitment in a way that goes far beyond physical ability. A contrast that has made her team a formidable opponent for Chicago. And the results back it up. This season, the Fever have beaten Chicago in every matchup, 4 wins and 0 losses, regardless of Clark's minutes on the floor. Every contest underscores her influence, as well as the impact of her supporting cast. Aaliyah Boston dominates the paint. Kelsey Mitchell remains a reliable scorer. Sophie Cunningham brings toughness and intensity. Lexi Hall provides crucial minutes, and Natasha Howard contributes veteran leadership. Together, they form a unit built around Clark's approach, disciplined, connected, and focused. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's mysterious day-to-day status only deepens the scrutiny. Unlike Clark, whose injury is documented and understood, Reese's absence remains vague, unexplained, and indefinite. Every delay, every canceled game, and every missed practice adds to the narrative that she has stepped back when adversity arrives. Where Clark confronts setbacks head-on, Reese's disappearance has fueled debate about her priorities, commitment, and impact on the sky. The contrast between their approaches is impossible to ignore. One team rises through adversity, while the other struggles without its supposed star. For observers, this side-by-side comparison has become a defining storyline of the season. One player's presence consistently elevates her team, while another's absence paradoxically strengthens hers. And as whispers grow louder across sports media, fans are left asking the same pressing question. What does this pattern say about Angel Reese, and how will it shape both her reputation and her legacy in the WNBA? So how did Angel Reese's disappearance ignite a firestorm of scrutiny, and what shocking truths might surface next? Stay tuned to see it unfold. Angel Reese's silent exit and public response. The glaring question hanging over the Chicago sky all season has been Angel Reese herself. Expected to be the cornerstone of the franchise, Reese has been strikingly absent since July 29th.
Crafty with the ball. There's Angel Reese in dress clothes. The Sky are hopeful that Angel will be available. She's out with a back injury here tonight. But
officially, she is sidelined with a back injury. Yet the details are vague at best. No definitive cause, no projected timeline, and a convenience that has raised eyebrows across the league. Her absence hasn't been limited to games. She's also skipped team travel, missing critical matchups, including the recent clash against the Indiana Fever. Head coach Marcia's carefully worded statements reveal frustration masked in diplomacy. She wants to be out there. She's a competitor. She's a fighter. She's a winner, Marcia said, choosing words that acknowledge Reese's talent while subtly highlighting the tension. The implication is clear. While the team needs her presence, Reese's participation remains uncertain. Marcia emphasized the difference between Reese's silence and the transparency seen in other injured players. Updates on injuries to Caitlin Clark, Brianna Stewart, Ryan Howard, Jordan Canada, and others have been frequent, precise, and detailed. In contrast, Reese's condition remains shrouded in ambiguity. Despite the lack of updates, Reese remains active in the public eye, posting on social media and making appearances that suggest she is well enough to be seen, if not to contribute on the court. Her cryptic posts, including messages like, "In due time," arrived as the Sky endured an 8-game losing streak, intensifying speculation about her priorities. Observers note the contradiction. A player capable of maintaining a public presence while stepping away from team obligations during arguably the most challenging stretch of the season. Reese's absence has fueled further scrutiny when viewed alongside off-court incidents. Reports suggest she was involved in locker room tensions that contributed to Kennedy Carter's departure, adding another layer of concern about her influence on team cohesion. Her last documented game, a 32-minute outing against Washington on July 29th, contrasts sharply with her current seclusion. If her back injury were truly debilitating, such a performance would be impossible. Instead, critics argue, it appears the injury conveniently aligns with moments when the team is struggling, allowing her to avoid playing through adversity. The public reaction to Reese has been as sharp as her absence. Fans and commentators question her commitment and motives, suggesting that while she thrives in moments that enhance her profile or statistics, she struggles when faced with losing and team challenges. Social media chatter emphasizes the disconnect between her personal brand and the team's needs, creating a narrative that her focus may lie more in image management than basketball loyalty. In essence, Reese's silence and selective visibility have become defining features of this season. Every game she misses, every cryptic post she shares, and every event she attends in place of supporting the Sky fuels speculation. The pattern seems familiar to critics: presence when convenient, withdrawal when the team faces its darkest hours. For a player positioned as the face of the franchise, this behavior is raising serious questions about her dedication, her priorities, and the long-term impact of her choices on both her teammates and her legacy. But just when you think you've seen the full story of Angel Reese's disappearance, could her next move shock the league entirely? Stay connected to find out. Angel Reese and the silent divide. Angel Reese has become the focal point of scrutiny, not just for what she isn't doing on the court, but for the way her absence has shaped the Chicago Sky's season.
I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break.
Despite being positioned as the franchise's cornerstone, her decisions have left a vacuum of leadership that has reverberated through every facet of the team. Analysts argue that no matter how talented her teammates are, whether it's Nafiso, Breanna Stewart, or AJ, the Sky cannot reach championship contention as long as the offense revolves around Reese's individual play style. Her approach, critics say, has already shown the limitations it imposes on the team. Even with coaching changes, player rotations, and traded draft picks, the expected improvement has failed to materialize. In fact, the Sky appears to have regressed. Head coach Marcia finds himself navigating a landscape stacked against him. The roster, constructed under general manager Jeff Pagliacca, is widely regarded as flawed. The team lost Courtney Vandersloot to a season-ending ACL injury early in the year, traded away experienced leaders, and surrounded their promising young core with older veterans, unable to perform at a championship level. Spacing on offense remains poor. Guards struggle to find open looks, and the defensive framework, which should have been bolstered by Reese's rebounding and Cardoso's rim protection, has been porous, allowing opponents 85.9 points per game on 46.9% shooting. Marcia's frustration is evident in his candid statements. "It's not about losing, it's the way we're losing," he said, delivering one of the most unfiltered assessments of the Sky's struggles. He emphasized that discipline, communication, and adherence to strategy are essential for improvement. Yet all of it hinges on buy-in from the team's top players. And there, critics argue, lies the core issue. Reese's ongoing absence has made that buy-in impossible. While their teammates fight to adapt and overcome the challenges on the court, Reese maintains a conspicuous distance. She continues to post cryptic messages on social media, appearing publicly at times, but offering little tangible support to the squad enduring the season's toughest stretch. The disconnect between Reese's public persona and her on-court contribution has fueled growing dissatisfaction among fans, teammates, and commentators alike. Her silence in key moments, juxtaposed against her visibility in media appearances, has intensified scrutiny, raising questions about priorities, commitment, and accountability. Observers note that the management's missteps, combined with Reese's selective engagement, create a perfect storm. Marcia is left to enforce discipline and strategy, yet he is undermined by circumstances outside his control, a roster riddled with structural flaws and a franchise player whose choices send mixed messages. For a team struggling to navigate adversity, the implications are profound. The Sky's young players look to leaders for direction, yet the absence of the player heralded as the face of the franchise sends a contradictory message. Critics argue that until Reese aligns her public presence with her responsibilities to the team, the Sky's challenges will persist, and the gap between potential and performance will remain painfully visible. Every missed game, every cryptic post, and every choice to step back from team activities adds another layer to a narrative that has become impossible to ignore. Angel Reese's public reaction, or lack thereof, is shaping the story of this season as much as any on-court performance ever could. So what do you think is really driving Angel Reese's sudden disappearance from the Chicago Sky? Is it injury, strategy, or something else entirely? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.